The United Kingdom has become a mere shadow of the nation that gave us freedom of speech, freedom of the press, a host of other rights that we take for granted but probably should not take for granted. Nobody knows that better than Tommy Robinson. In May of this year, he was arrested for attempting to cover the trial of a sexual grooming gang in the UK. For speaking out loud on the sidewalk, he was taken to prison. With barely any time to muster a defense, he was tried and sentenced to 13 months in jail. Now, after more than 2 months behind bars in solitary confinement, during which time he was attacked by journalists in the UK. Almost nobody defended him. But tonight he has been released on bail after winning an appeal. Tommy Robinson joins us now for his first and only interview. Tommy Robinson, thank you very much for agreeing to talk to us. I know that you've spent the last 2.5 months by yourself in a cell, so you're probably feeling a little bit bewildered to be out. Tell us what it was like for you behind bars.
For me, behind bars, the way I was treated, I was taken to a prison with quite a low Muslim population. What I'm known for is criticising Islam, so there's been many planned attempts to murder me and kill me in this country. I was taken to a prison with a low Muslim population of 7%, where things were relatively normal. I was separated from other prisoners, but the prison officers made sure they opened my doors multiple times during the day, and they took me out to play pool and snooker with themselves. I was then taken from that prison and transferred to another prison. And I was transferred to the prison with the largest Muslim population in the UK for a CCAT prison. I was then put on solitary confinement, where I spent 2 months not seeing or speaking to anybody, and they used the reason that I was in danger. Now, they would have had risk assessments before I went there. I was purposely taken to be put in danger so that then that reason can be used to then put me on solitary confinement. And if you think about what has happened in this case, it took a number of hours to take me before a court, prosecute me, unlawfully imprison me, and then it took 2 months with the prisons moving me to prevent my legal access, shortening my legal visits, and it took months before I got the opportunity to go before a judge. Once the judge heard what had happened in the trial, we found so many illegal and wrongdoings within this kangaroo court that then it took another 2 weeks before I was freed. And to be honest, this whole encounter, if you talk about, I haven't eaten. I've lost nearly 40 pounds in prison. I had 1 tin of tuna and a piece of fruit a day. I was supposed to be in Her Majesty's prison service, not Guantanamo Bay. I couldn't open my windows because I was having excrement and spit put through them. I believe this whole process, and Tucker, this isn't the first.
Excuse me, I'm sorry to interrupt, but who is putting excrement through your window and spit through your window?
So my prison cell that I was put in was on the lower level, the ground level, which it didn't have to be. So it's on the ground level. So every prisoner would walk past my cell window, everyone as they walk out. So when my windows were open, every prisoner's walking past. The mosque for the prison was directly opposite my cell. So every time, and we've had huge heat waves, I was literally drenched day to day, and I had excrement and spit thrown through the doors, through my windows. So in the end, I had completely blocked up windows, had to block up all of my cell windows. And all of this, when I say this, to a lot of people around the world, this current case, and the world has watched it, has shocked them. For me, this has been nothing new. There's some things I have not spoke about in the past, where in 2012, I spent 5 months on solitary confinement in the British prison. This goes against every human right and every law. I spent 5 months on solitary. When I come out, I was diagnosed with a form of post-traumatic stress disorder. I've never spoke about that publicly because I don't want to insult members of the military who have witnessed war and try and compare being locked in a cell and on solitary confinement to that. But my medical records are fully aware, that the authorities are fully aware of them, the government are fully aware of them, the prison service are fully aware of them. They know what that did to me. They know what I went through after that. But
I guess may I interrupt you? I just want our viewers to understand why this happened to you in the first place. You went to prison in a supposedly free country for expressing unfashionable opinions in public. Did you, with this last round, you've been in jail for 2 months, did you hit anybody? Did you steal anything? Or did you say something the government didn't like?
There was a court case going on where 29 people were in court for gang raping up to 100 young children. Now, I stood outside the court and I spoke, and all I done was read a BBC News article that is still online now for millions of people to see. Now, and I was taken, and everyone would have watched the video. They said for a breach of the peace, they transported me to a police custody, And then my solicitor contacted the police custody. Then they emailed my solicitor, which my solicitor has this email saying I was being released. Then they took me in a van back to the court through the back door. They put me up before a judge. And media reports have said that I pled guilty. At no point was I even asked whether I was guilty or not guilty. I was not even told, and I still, to this point now, have not been told and do not know what it is I'm deemed to have done wrong. In a British court of law, for a fair trial for anyone, they have to understand what it is they're being accused of. Contempt of court. That's all I've been told. What contempt of court? I was fully aware outside that court. I made sure to point out that these men are innocent until proven guilty. I said alleged. I was non-confrontational. There is not the judges, and I know the law. The judges have no power to issue reporting restrictions on anybody, on any information that is already in the public domain. I was taken and whisked away, and what we've seen this week is the highest judge in our country has completely condemned this as flawed, completely criticised the handling of this case, the kangaroo court style it was to imprison me. And my biggest concern with it is, at this time, that when this has happened, and so many people, I say a thank you to the Middle East Forum, a thank you to Congressman Gosar, a thank you to Ambassador Brownback, a thank you to yourself, Tucker, people who come out, because we know that in this country, anyone who speaks about Islam, you can be a complete liberal. The minute you mention, criticise Islam, you are deemed and attacked by everybody. Now, and people put their neck on the line.
Let me just ask you now, did anyone defend you? I mean, even if people disagree with you, you would think some would say he has a right, this man has a right to express his opinions. Did anybody defend your right to say what you think is true?
Everyone of authority and every media company and mainstream media lined up to completely do hatchet jobs about why I should be in prison and how I deserve to be in prison. And the worst one, I'm reading a human rights lawyer defending why I should be in prison. Now, I'm in prison. I'm facing absolute. Yep. They know what they're doing to me. They know. At the time when I was in prison, they then come and see me in my prison cell and say, police are on their way to your house because there's intel there's going to be acid attacks against your wife. Now, I'm
sorry, Tommy. We're out of time, okay. And on that sad note, I wish you good luck in recovering from this and on the time you're going to take off. And I just want our viewers to understand that this has happened in a country that we believed was free, and without our vigilance, it could happen here. That's not hysteria, it's real. Tommy Robinson, thank you very much. Yeah.